Urban learners. There's a very real difference when working with students from the inner cities with different external pressures and stressors, but that doesn't mean an urban learner has to be less successful in school. By the end of this lesson, I expect you, as a teacher, to identify at least 3 problems afflicting urban youth, as well as identify the 4 simple principles to motivate urban learners, and why they are important. Regardless of the situations kids are in at home or outside of school, they have an opportunity to escape into an environment that can permanently enrich their life. That environment is school, and it must be fostered by teachers to have the maximum benefit on students. There are 8 plagues that affect urban learners: violence, school-to-prison pipeline, poor family structure, dropouts, drug abuse, too many languages spoken in the home, gangs, and racism. These are all barriers which impede success in school and the future of the students affected as well as others close to them. In order to combat these hardships, an attitude change must occur. Hope. You must foster hope in your students to help them succeed. Here are 4 ways to enact change for your urban learners. Believe. In order for belief to be a working motivator, it must be true. It's not magic and it's not fake. You must believe when it is hard to believe, and if you do, you can have a powerful effect on your students. Care. Genuinely care about students. Urban students in particular are good at walling themselves off to protect themselves. Once students know that your focus is on them, not grades or state testing scores, they will begin to trust you. However, caring must be shown, not just told. Refuse to give up. Troubled youth will often be more comfortable not doing work when you don't have expectations for them. They will try to be unlikable, so you won't have expectations for them. But it's critical to generating hope that you persist in not giving up on them. If you refuse to give up, they will have to rise to the task. Make a difference. You must change your outlook. Stop saying, "What can I do?" and do something. You can make a huge difference, more than you know, in affecting a student's life and their prospects for the future. Here's a short film from Erin Gruel.
Hi, I'm Erin Gruel, an ordinary teacher who had an extraordinary experience with 150 students who affectionately call themselves Freedom Writers. Years ago, 150 students walked into my freshman English class at Wilson High, and the one thing they shared in common was they hated reading, they hated writing, and they hated me, their crazy English teacher. And over the 4 years they spent in room 203, these young people were able to put down their fist, put down that spray can, put down that gun, and pick up a pen. And their stories were bound together in a book called The Freedom Writer's Diary, which became this incredible international bestseller. Years later, teachers all over North America have been using this book with their students in their classrooms. And we found that these teachers had an amazing way of connecting with their students. These teachers have come together. They call themselves Freedom Writer teachers, passionate teachers who teach to a student and not to a test, gave them a platform, and they have penned their own story, a book called Teaching Hope. And in this book, you're going to have a gritty bird's eye view of everything that happens in classrooms, whether they're rural, urban, even some of our toughest juvenile halls, jails, and detention centers across our country. But each of these stories take us through that journey of what a teacher goes through in that academic school year. The giddiness, the anticipation, the disappointment, the challenges, that moment when they throw their hands up and they want to give up. But there's a moment when every kid has that aha moment. The light bulb goes on, there's an epiphany, and the teachers capture that moment when a kid feels that they've made a connection, that moment when a kid feels that they have a voice, that moment when a kid realizes that maybe, just maybe, education is the only way to liberate themselves. It's difficult, it's challenging, but every single one of these Freedom Writer teachers will echo that it's a calling, that there's no greater job for them, nothing more rewarding, and nothing more special than to reach each and every child that walks through their door. And so as a reader is reading these stories, these provocative stories, I think it's going to tug at their heartstrings. I think it's going to validate our profession. And I think more importantly, it's really going to allow all of us to understand how difficult and rewarding and challenging being a teacher is. And it makes me, as a teacher, an ordinary teacher, so very proud of the legacy they're leaving, and makes me proud of this profession. So as an English teacher, my homework assignment for you, the reader, is to pick up Teaching Hope and a box of Kleenex and to find yourself somewhere within the pages of this book, laughing and crying and celebrating these dynamic teachers who truly believe that every kid can make it. So please be a part of this incredible movement, and may you too be part of teaching hope.
As you can see, hope is a powerful tool that ordinary teachers can use to motivate students. Your job, as a teacher, is to construct hope out of your belief in your students, your care for their welfare, your refusal to give up, and your decision to make a difference. Together, your students and you will use hope to cut through the 8 plagues of urban learners and move steadily towards a brighter future. To finish this lesson, we're going to take 5 questions to assess your knowledge. Question 1. What are at least 3 of the 8 plagues afflicting urban students? If you said one of these possible answers, violence, school-to-prison pipeline, poor family structure, dropouts, drug abuse, too many languages spoken, gangs, or racism, then you're correct. Question number 2. What is the best way to build motivation? Answer choice A, by disciplining students who achieve poorly. Answer choice B, by encouraging extra lessons after school. Answer choice C, by building hope in the students. Or answer choice D, by calling students freedom riders. If you said the correct answer was C, by building hope in the students, then you're correct. Question number 3. You can make a difference to the kids by helping with the necessary attitude change in schools. True or false? If you said true, then you are correct. You can make a difference. Question number 4. What are the 4 paths to building hope? If your answer was believing in your students, caring in them, refusing to give up, and making a difference, then you're correct. Those 4 components build hope, which is a great motivator for students. Question number 5. What is Erin Gruel famous for? A. Being the first woman teacher. B. Teaching the first urban youth students. C. Instilling hope in her freedom riders. Or D. She's a very famous YouTube speaker. Erin Gruel was in the short video clip they watched, and the correct answer is C, instilling hope in her freedom riders. I sincerely hope that at the end of my lesson on teaching urban students, that you not only learned 4 principles to build hope to motivate your students, but that you also can identify some problems which often impede the success of urban learners, and that with a little patience and lots of understanding, you will be able to foster success in your urban classroom.